Producers of The Golden Bachelor are embarrassed that Mel Owen's season has failed. Nobody expected this to turn out this way. Nevertheless, they are contemplating the possibility of bidding farewell to the popular program. Every one of them has looked foolish this season, but for the time being, all they can do is keep making episodes, unveiling and revealing more lies ahead. If you want to get more details about this, you should read on. There has never been a Golden Bachelor before Jerry Turner. In comparison to Mel's current season, his had significantly higher ratings. But production still had other plans for the season. The fans were not fans of Jerry. On the other hand, he ultimately proposed to Teresa Nist. The happy couple even tied the knot in front of 6.1 million viewers at their massively publicized wedding. But in the end, the marriage was a failure. Shortly after their Palm Springs, California wedding, Teresa and Jerry filed for a dissolution of their marriage. Teresa might not be who she appeared to be, and Jerry has laid out many of the reasons why in his latest book. The producers of The Golden Bachelor are embarrassed since the season is not doing successfully. With only 2.5 million viewers to begin with compared to Jerry's 4.4 million, the views are poor. With each new episode, they remove it. My goodness. The franchise will not be pleased by this. But they've gotten themselves into too much trouble. There's no turning back now. The show's loyal fan base is crossing its fingers that the show's ratings will rise and lead to more seasons. But there may be serious issues with the casting. The number of views on each episode appears to be steadily declining. The franchise will not benefit from this. Unfortunately, we can't change the situation now. They realized they had cast the lead role wrong, according to production. But they could do nothing to change that either. The uncomfortable trend of steadily declining episode views is affecting the franchise as a whole. Is this something you can get behind? Is it all shocking to you? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Please share your thoughts on this matter with us. The Golden Bachelor, a spin-off of the hit franchise The Bachelor, has been a source of intrigue since its inception. It was billed as a show that would showcase romance, love, and second chances for older contestants, proving that love has no age limit. Initially, the show was met with widespread praise as it brought a fresh perspective to a well-worn formula. However, despite the high expectations and enthusiastic fan base, the show's recent season starring Mel, a contestant who had captured the audience's heart from the start, has failed to meet the mark. In fact, the failure has left producers feeling embarrassed and uncertain about the future direction of the series. The Golden Bachelor's initial success. When the Golden Bachelor concept was announced, it was seen as a breakthrough moment for the franchise. For the first time, viewers would see seniors, individuals in their 60s and 70s, searching for love on national television. The producers' decision to showcase older contestants was an inspired one, as it tapped into an underserved demographic that had been largely ignored in mainstream dating shows. The initial reception was overwhelmingly positive, as viewers were eager to see a romantic storyline centered around mature, seasoned individuals. The format initially appeared to promise a unique mix of heartwarming moments and genuine connections, offering a much-needed departure from the youthful exuberance of past seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. The older contestants, many of whom were widowed or divorced, came across as authentic and sincere in their search for companionship. Viewers found themselves emotionally invested in these contestants, who often had rich life stories and perspectives to share. The first few seasons of The Golden Bachelor demonstrated the potential for success, with the audience gravitating toward the mature and real conversations about love, family, and new beginnings. It seemed like a formula that could work, especially in a world where people were beginning to value genuine connection over superficiality. The emotional depth that older contestants brought to the show resonated with viewers in a way that younger contestants simply could not. Mel's season and the downward spiral. Mel's season, however, marked a dramatic departure from the success of earlier seasons. For some, it was a season full of unfulfilled promises, missed connections, and failed expectations. Mel herself had entered the show with a promising backstory. She was a successful woman in her 60s who had lived a full life and was finally ready to take a second shot at love. In the beginning, her charm and wit won over audiences and cast members alike, but soon cracks began to show in the structure of the season. It wasn't long before viewers started noticing the obvious problems with the production. Unlike previous seasons, where the contestants seemed to have a natural connection with the lead, Mel struggled to create meaningful bonds with the men vying for her affection. The connections felt forced and artificial, and the chemistry simply wasn't there. There was a palpable awkwardness that permeated the entire season. Producers who had hoped to craft a love story that could rival the success of past seasons quickly realized that things were not going according to plan. The issues were not limited to the lack of chemistry between Mel and her suitors. The format of the season seemed to drag on, with episodes that were filled with awkward silences and moments that felt painfully contrived. The producers' attempts to manufacture drama also backfired, leading to moments that felt less like organic conflict and more like forced interactions designed to fill time. As the season progressed, the viewership numbers began to dip, a stark contrast to the high ratings seen in previous seasons. What had once been a show that captivated audiences began to feel like an afterthought, with viewers tuning in out of obligation rather than excitement. The producers who had hoped for a groundbreaking season were left with a sense of embarrassment as the series began to flounder in front of the public eye. The producers' regret. Behind the scenes, producers began to express their regret over the direction of the season. The production team, who had been enthusiastic about Mel's involvement in the show, quickly realized that they had miscalculated in their approach. In an attempt to create compelling television, they had overcomplicated things. Instead of focusing on the natural, heartwarming connections that had made previous seasons so beloved, they had gotten lost in a web of overly scripted drama and mismatched pairings. The embarrassment from the producers grew as they watched their initial vision for the season unravel. They had hoped that Mel, with her wealth of life experience and relatable persona, would provide a refreshing contrast to the usual dating show tropes. Instead, her season ended up being a prime example of how, even in a dating show with older contestants, genuine connection is difficult to manufacture without true chemistry. Producers also failed to anticipate how viewers would react to the forced narrative. The audience, who had been so welcoming to the idea of older contestants finding love, quickly became disillusioned with the predictable formula that seemed to dominate the season. The producers had tried to create moments that would appeal to fans of the original show, but in doing so, they lost sight of what had made The Golden Bachelor different in the first place: the authenticity of older individuals looking for love without the usual drama and gimmicks. Looking forward, lessons learned. The failure of Mel's season, while undeniably disappointing, offers important lessons for the future of the Golden Bachelor franchise. First and foremost, it is clear that chemistry cannot be forced. Producers must focus on the authentic connections between contestants and avoid trying to manipulate relationships for the sake of drama. The audience, particularly those who had come to love the show for its heartwarming portrayal of love in later life, is not interested in watching fake drama or forced interactions. Additionally, it is essential that producers reconsider their approach to casting. The charm of earlier seasons came from the relatable and down-to-earth nature of the contestants. While Mel had a great story to tell, it is apparent that the focus should be on finding individuals who are truly ready for love, rather than relying on a celebrity or storyline to carry the season. Lastly, the Golden Bachelor needs to remember that what works for younger contestants may not translate well to older ones. The pressures of the reality TV world can be difficult for younger contestants, but for those in their 60s and 70s, the stakes are higher. These individuals are looking for a second chance at love, and it's crucial that the show respects that. In future seasons, the focus should be on fostering real connections, rather than trying to create an artificial sense of urgency or conflict.